Entonces, yo no quería.
I didn't want to let him join. I thought he was too young. He was only 9, and I thought they weren't going to let him join.
His work ethic is second to none, especially for a kid. His self-discipline, he's more self-disciplined than some of the pros that I know. I don't have to worry about this kid. I don't have to worry about if he's in shape. I don't have to worry about if he's going to be on weight. He does what he needs to do, and he takes care of it himself.
I mean, a regular kid likes to box. I love boxing. This is what I want to do, so keep doing what I do best.
He just took over the #1 spot back in December. He's been ranked for quite a while, climbing his way up in the top 10.
Es algo muy bonito.
It's really nice. It was something I didn't expect him to be at this level, and especially be #1 in the U.S. and in this division.
We are thankful for her because she dedicates all her time to these kids and my son.
Good job, guys. Good job. That's why we started this. That's why I started this, is give the kids a place to go after school, keep them off the streets, keep them out of trouble, especially on this side of town. And so we just kind of blossomed from there.
Her always being there for us and teaching us the best she can, so we can go out there and perform the best we can.
Good job, good job.
Yo le digo,
I tell him, look, son, if one day you want to become a pro fighter and at the level you want to be at, well, it's going to be thanks to your brother. Always keep that in mind.
Eso llévalo siempre en tu mente.
He's done a lot for me. He's always there. He's always supporting me. I mean, he's there with me 24/7. Anything I want to do, he always tries to support me in it, so I mean, I thank him for that.
I want him to have all the support he can that maybe we didn't have growing up, so he can have it. That's why I push to like give him the best opportunity he can to be whatever he wants to be, whether that's boxing or just in life in general. Proud of everything he's doing, how far he's came, and to just keep being the same kid he is, a good-hearted kid that always tries to make the right decision for the people, not just for him, but for the people around him, and that I love him. I mean, we might not say it all the time, but that's my little brother, and I see him like a son, and I love him.
You're the best?
Yeah. I can see myself winning. I mean, I put in the work. And I just want to thank all my supporters, my team. I got the best team in OKC, and we're coming for the #1 spot, 85 pounds.
Yeah, so today is one of my favorite days of the year. It's Skate the Plaza.
Put on a little bit of a show as well as build things and obstacles that you don't get to skate every single day. You definitely don't find just in a city park or on a curb.
But this is by far the biggest we've done. Shutting the whole street, 16th Street down. And yeah, just all things skate culture, punk rock, art, small business.
I think the raddest thing out of all of it is like having a store. I get to see it first case. You know, we got 4-year-olds to 60-year-olds that come in.
It's an amazing sport. I love it. It's been 36 years since I've been on a board, but my 11-year-old son, Flynn, kind of got me back into it, but he has taught me so much more than I ever learned.
You got it, though.
At a younger age, so I love watching them.
That wasn't even it.
Young people, young kids, to want to make memories and then, you know, hang out in the Plaza District for decades. So.
It's the only sport I've honestly seen where everybody cheers for everybody on every trick.
Vert wall, it's not a standard quarter pipe or a mini ramp that people ride. That's a 5-foot very tight transition into 3 foot of vertical, which basically it's like riding a wall. So it takes a lot of extra skill to get up and around that and go. Told my son if he didn't pick it up from the house, I was taking it, and this is what happened to it.
The GoPro on the head.
Why fly over a wooden box? Why not fly over a car? What's more Oklahoma than a pickup truck? You know, that's a good time.
This is one of the most exciting days for the marathon. We have 191 runners that are signed up, and they're all getting new shoes today to running the marathon.
Today, the shoe day, is always one of our favorite days each year. A little hectic, a lot of kids in a little short amount of time, but we got them all taken care of and some happy faces today.
I look forward to this every year. This is our second year, so it's very dramatic, but I do. I woke up this morning and I was like, it's shoe day, and then I started crying because it's shoe day. It means a lot to me. My mom died when I was in elementary school, and I'm gonna cry as always. My mom loved kids, and she loved running, so it just fell together and fits that I get to go out and participate with my school and run with kids. We do a walking club on Thursdays, so they just walk or run around the gym. We know that 19 laps around our gym equals 1 mile. So I mean, some of them are sprinting and they leave exhausted. Yeah.
I'm running a race.
I know, and it's so much fun. Knowing that my mom is here and these children get to benefit from her, even, 28 years later? Like, it's really cool, so it's worth it. It's worth it every day.
Thank you everybody for showing up. We have some awards to present today, but also stand in the presence of a lot of heroes. So this is Caden. He's going to get an award today. The City of Moore Communications Division would like to recognize Caden Kennedy for his bravery.
I was just focusing on my grandma and trying to help her.
In calling 911 and doing such an amazing job in helping us to get his grandmother help. This is the hero that answered the call. Don't want to take away from your actions. And you know that you're very special to us, that we love who you are, we love your story.
I've been in his position a lot to where I had to make those decisions and be really mature in those moments, even though they're scary.
And there's a whole bunch of safety tips on what to know when you call 911, but you don't need them. I already knew all of those.
Duncombe received a call from a young male advising his grandmother, who had multiple sclerosis, had fallen, was bleeding from her head. Immediately, she recognized this caller as a young child and began to calm him and speak to him in a way that he could easily understand.
Tell me exactly what happened. So my grandma, she has MS and she fell and hit her head on a metal chair and she's bleeding. Okay.
And used a calming tone while gathering information from him. She continued to reassure the young caller that he was doing a great job.
You did a really, really good job. I was working with her, and you did great.
Caden knew who he was in that moment, and I think that day just kind of painted a picture of what kind of adult he can grow up to be and the potential that he has to do great things.
That trip to the dentist is one most of us are not smiling about.
You can avoid this if you want, but it ends up, kind of being more work in the long run. Is the crown done? Okay.
Stroud dentist Brett Francis.
We're just gonna get the crown glued on and that's it, okay?
Gives people a reason to smile.
We got the x-rays going yesterday.
Tooth decay affects 90% of American adults.
I don't think people realize how many people are truly affected.
These x-rays illustrate a serious example.
He's lost a lot of teeth over the years to dental decay and gum disease.
We thought you should meet the man behind these scans, Johnny Paul.
I've had bad teeth since I was 3 years old.
Who people know as JP.
Sooner born, sooner bred. Whenever I die, I'll be sooner dead.
JP is getting some implants to replace the teeth he has left.
Really a blessing is what it is.
Give him something to actually chew and function with.
However, Brett is not JP's dentist.
I just felt in my heart I wanted to do it.
They never met until yesterday.
A crazy 6 days anyway.
At last week's OU game, cameras from the broadcast caught JP in his jacket.
It's pretty badass.
Rooting for his team.
Obviously, you can tell I'm a big OU fan, a big Baker fan.
Brett was there too.
JP was kind of getting ridiculed online for his teeth.
The season of giving is the Oklahoma standard.
And I just like to help people when I can, and I have a skill set that can benefit a lot of people.
And Brett will bring JP's smile back.
Why not him?
For free.
The best option that we have in dentistry right now.
A gesture that means everything.
It does. It really does. Brett and his staff mean a lot to me now.
JP's personality brings out a smile in Brett.
We got this picture together yesterday.
Brett says he's returning the favor.
You give somebody the ability to smile, it really affects their self-confidence.
JP can't wait for this trip to the dentist.
I'm just going to have a bigger smile for OU.
Because it's guaranteed to put a smile on his face.
Don't judge people by their appearance, you know. Everybody's got a heart.
Jordan Fremstad, Oklahoma Zone, News 9.
What started as a family journey ended with a statewide community of law enforcement gathered inside this Oklahoma City church.
When she was about 15 or 16, she went with her dad, Rusty Pyle, to work. Rusty was a police officer. She came home and said, you know, I want to be a police officer. Rusty said, no, don't do that. She said, no, I want to do that. I want to help people.
Family have asked that Deputy Pyle be referred to by her maiden name. Her husband and former co-worker remains in the Canadian County Jail.
In her patrol car, she has coloring books and colors and stuffed animals in case she ran into a situation where she needed to minister to a child and taking care of them.
For as much as she was a minister to others, officers at her funeral said today was an opportunity to repay their debt.
She was there to lift us up, to help carry our burdens, and to see us through. And now we're here to see the family. Thank you for being here.
Deputy Pyle's boss sharing the unanimous thoughts from the rest of the sheriff's office.
Jordan, we love you, and we will miss you. You will forever be in our hearts.
And this community of officers.
Name, 5, 1, 2, 3, 5.
Will continue her journey with her legacy top of mind.
Breathe up.
These sounds. Crescendo and a goodbye to summer vacation.
The first day at Westmore High School here in Oklahoma City is just more than a week away. But for students in marching band, there's going to be a few things different about the upcoming season.
We can't do it without the parents.
And it's the parents who run the Westmore Band Booster Club. Band director Ari Taylor says those key volunteers made a shocking discovery earlier this week. They found a lock like this one busted open.
I got a phone call saying, hey, Miss Taylor, we need you to come over here. The food trailer has been, and there's been a theft, and it's been almost emptied.
Nearly $6,000 worth of food and cooking equipment was taken.
They took everything, even to the napkins, plates, utensils.
The band depends on the food trailer to feed its small army of nearly 250 people at competitions and shows.
It kind of was like, oh no, we have more things that we have to fundraise for.
News about the trailer turned heads during this week's band camp, which prepares students for the upcoming season.
They definitely were shocked to hear that had happened. It's going to be a fun, exciting season.
It's a setback, but Taylor has been just as shocked by the help pouring in.
We're just really grateful for a community that cares for each other.
Practice for their first September concert is moving along. The marching band of Westmore High is making sure not to miss a beat. In Oklahoma City, Matt McCabe, Oklahoma Zone, News 9.
Unrecognizable.
It's kind of weird, like I don't really fully have my bearings, like, because I'm so used to things like landmarks being here.
Kaylee says it's hard to believe the devastation a tornado can cause. Everything's gone.
Literally everything. Like we had a well house, a shed, a house is gone.
In that house was her grandfather.
He was our champion, like he loved us. He was always proud of us. He was always rooting for us. The last message he sent me was, "Good morning, I hope you have a good day," with a sun emoji. That's huge because he's using emojis.
He rode out the storm last night. The powerful tornado ripped his house off the earth. Emergency crews tell Kaylee his dog, Max,
He's probably really sad.
led them to him.
You did your best, buddy.
Kaylee says he was all about family.
He did everything for us, so anytime we needed our oil changed or tires fixed or something, he would do it all right there on his little concrete slab.
He also helped his community, and now they're returning the favor.
We're just friends, just here to help.
They're helping sift through her grandparents' belongings.
I haven't looked at any of it, so I have no idea what's there.
It may not look like there's much left, but it's stuff that means the world to them.
The Steve Miller Band? Hippies, I'm telling you.
As her family comes to terms with this loss, she has one last message.
I wrote him a letter.
Thanking him,
Papa,
for everything he's done for her.
You're the best grandpa that a girl could have, and you set the bar really high as an example of love. They'll surprise you.
Well, President Trump was here in New York barely 24 hours. He was here at the Manhattan Criminal Court barely 2 hours. Still, it was a lot. Flocking to support their president and peck away at a politically motivated indictment, pro-Trump patriots tried to rally around the belief that former President Trump is the victim of conspiracy between the Manhattan DA and the Biden administration.
They have nothing to campaign on, so they've decided to arrest President Trump, who is innocent, on the word of a porn star and a felon.
But every such charge lodged by the Trump crowd was countered by a steady drumbeat of lock him up chanting Trump critics.
This guy, look at that guy.
New York may be Donald Trump's hometown, but it is no longer his town. And here he had to face the music Tuesday, walking somberly into a courtroom to hear the felony charges he now faces.
President Trump has his motionless position for most of the session. He only spoke 12 words altogether, 2 of which were not guilty.
Not guilty to 34 counts of falsifying business records related to the $130,000 payment to adult film star Stormy Daniels, allegedly to keep her from going public with her allegation of an extramarital affair with Trump and harming his election chances.
I was surprised. He was quite calm, and I think humble would be a proper word.
Tense would be the proper word to describe the scene outside as police made sure the building and surrounding area remained secure until the former president and his entourage were gone. And once they were, quite suddenly the crowds were gone. The brief, clanging spectacle was loaded up and taken away. In Lower Manhattan, I'm Oklahoma's own Alex Cameron.
The water tower has long been a symbol of a city. High above nearly every town, the tanks have always been much more than water storage.
Just like any town, the water towers is one of the first things you're going to see. I didn't give you a specific address, but you found it.
They certainly do an important job. Reliable systems that give residents, businesses, and firefighters adequate high-pressure H2O. A municipality must.
It's my job to make sure everything stays up and running. And if it isn't, then I don't look good.
Mike Cockrell, the City of Ripley's utility department.
You need a commentary?
He checks water meters.
Fixing to read this meter.
For all 350 of their residents.
The meter's down there at the bottom.
And happily so.
I'd rather be out doing this kind of work as opposed to being stuck somewhere. 2
water wells pump the town's water. There are also 2 towers, but one of them is empty, out of commission, after someone shot holes through it. Ripley simply can't foot the repair bill.
Fixing it, put it back in use would be nice. Again, $700,000. For a little town, it's kind of hard to keep up with it all.
Head south to a little bit bigger town, Blanchard, and you'll find a similar story.
That's next on our list, to completely refurbish that, go in and clean it out, sandblast it, re-epoxy it, set it up so it could go back in service. The main problem right now is Blanchard has grown so much that we need more water.
Mayor Michael Scalf says the price tag to give their nearly 100-year-old original tower a new life is $1.5 million or more. Erected in 1926, it's on a local preservation list and one of 4 in town. 3 are reserve tanks for city water, but even with 30 wells to pull from, it wasn't enough.
Looking at it, you can tell that it's a little bit weather worn right now because it hasn't been used since about '97 when they went live with the water line from Oklahoma City.
Many towns aren't using their water towers anymore because they tapped into water supplied by Oklahoma City, one of those sources being Lake Hefner. In fact, OKC Utilities now supplies 100 million gallons of water every day to 17 different communities.
The wettest month on record.
In 2015, record-breaking flooding in Oklahoma washed out water pipes. Blanchard and other towns struggled with long-term low pressure, among other things. They know weather disturbances will happen again. That's why they want to rely on their own storage, like neighbor Norman.
OU has started rehabbing. They got 3 towers on their property. The one right in the middle of the campus was rehabbed about 4 years ago, and then this one was rehabbed here this spring. So yeah, an old tower, but basically what it says is no matter how old they are, if they've kind of been kept up, you know, over 100 years old,
as long as you continue to maintain them.
Norman sustains 6 robust systems, supplying 6 million gallons of drinkable water to 130,000 residents. Older towers in town have resigned from such jobs, like this one near campus. Now it stores brown water used to maintain a football field, as in Owen Field, home of the OU Sooners. Championship softball soil? Yep, it keeps the grass green there too. Anyone around these parts would agree. Those are still fine jobs for a water tower. Cider estimates about 25% of towers are now empty in Oklahoma. Their niche of structural engineers have worked with countless cities to give them new life. Salina, Texas, not only had theirs repainted, but added color-changing lights to the catwalk. Home of Pistol Pete in Perkins underwent a facelift to stay in use, but Okima's hot and cold icons were dismantled due to lack of funding to restore the aging structures, and several now serve as cell phone towers.
You can see the antennas on it now, up there hanging off the catwalk. Okay, all that came off and were put on temporary towers by AT&T. Once again, these things end up dual function. But let's face it, if it all comes down to it, we can live without our cell phones, but we can't live without this water.
So whether you're rearing a championship softball team or a tiny spot on the map, below these giants are the hearts of neighborhoods who love them.
They provide the character of the old town feel, and something that people can relate to.
Bobby Miller, Oklahoma's own News 9.
The band said performing here at the Zoo Amphitheater was the culmination of their biggest tour to date. And if you were here, you had the chance to walk through 20 years of their music, from the first album to the last.
For the All-American Rejects, this is a homecoming.
Boy, this is something.
Preparing for their final concert on the Wet Hot All-American Summer Tour here in Oklahoma City.
Coming back to Oklahoma to finish the biggest tour of our life I think it puts into perspective just how grateful we really are, not only to be able to come home with this legacy, but also to be from here.
Tyson Ritter, Nick Wheeler, Mike Kennedy, and Chris Gaylor, together they started building that legacy when they were just teenagers, forming their band in Stillwater in 1999.
I think it's like the biggest misconception that everybody just starts out a rock star. No, you're usually like kind of a loner, and it's a very small group of like-minded people that decide to apply themselves to music.
That's what the band did, taking their music into local bars where they weren't even old enough to enter otherwise.
So we like bootleg all our flyers playing at Mike's college bar, but
we had no backup plan. Yeah. Music and the band was the only plan.
A plan that eventually landed them a record deal in 2002.
And they pulled us outside after we played for like 20 people. We need to talk shop. And I'd never heard that turn of phrase. And I was just turned 17, maybe?
Yeah, you were 17, I was 19.
Yeah, and the next week there was a record deal in our mailbox and our parents were freaked. Because this actually meant that they would have to forgo the dream of us being collegiate superstars.
Instead, they were on their way to becoming rock stars, eventually signing to DreamWorks Records. Their 20-year career landed them 2 platinum albums, 1 gold album, and over 10 million records sold worldwide.
Being able to come home with, something to show for ourselves, it's, we're absolutely grateful. And it's also so surreal. This is the biggest tour that we've ever done in our career.
Fans from the beginning, now bringing their kids.
She was 10 years old, and now she's
We're the Rejects for a reason. We weren't in like some sort of like nested scene of the 2000s. We were just a part of that experience, I think. And seeing all ages, all walks of life every night in front of us is the most eye-opening, bizarre experience, because you forget that music is something that lasts forever.
And performing at home, they admit, is special. With Tyson's family front and center, his mom singing every word with her son.
It's a pretty neat feeling when people know their songs and makes you proud.
Oh yeah, she's an excited lady. She's very proud of her son. Yeah.
You know, like a lot of people ask us if we get sick of playing like the hits, but it's like every night the crowd goes off on those, and that's, you know, which makes us go off. And so yeah, I don't know if I have a favorite, but it's still, I definitely am not sick of playing them, so that's good.
And after all these years together, they're not done yet.
I think just being around each other, it's clear that like there's some gas in the tank. So yeah, let's see what happens next.
We'll be watching. In Oklahoma City, Deanne Stein, Oklahoma's own, News 9.
We have the largest team of storm trackers on the roads. Our reporters have also been out tracking conditions all day long.
So how do the roads look out there? We have you covered. Let's start right here in Oklahoma City, where we find our Sylvia Corkill. Hi, Sylvia.
Hey, Amanda, Colby. Yeah, we're here at Northeast 71st Street, just over I-44. You can see some of the traffic there behind me. Everything moving pretty smoothly right now. Most of these vehicles able to still do the speed limit since there is not any snow or ice or even slush on the roads at this point to speak of. Now, just a little earlier today, we were further east in Shawnee, where we did see some massive snowflakes out in that direction, but same as what we're seeing here, nothing is sticking to the roads because they are still warm enough. A good thing for motorists at this point. We'll continue to monitor that throughout the night. In Oklahoma City, Sylvia Corkill, Oklahoma's own News 9.
And we're glad you're with us tonight. This coming June will be the third official Oklahoma City Pride Parade and celebration.
Organizers are busy planning events and performances that could become illegal if certain bills are passed and become law. News 9's Brittany Toulis is live at the Capitol with concerns from the OKC Pride Alliance.
Yeah, Carl, Amanda, OKC Pride's president says the city has welcomed the LGBT+ community with open arms. But two bills has both organizers and community members worried that they could get arrested this year for celebrating who they are.
An Edmond business owner is encouraging others to stay alert as Edmond police investigate a string of burglaries right along South Bryant near East 33rd. Our Sylvia Corkill learned the thief targeted businesses. Sylvia?
Amanda, Edmond police tell me at least 3 businesses, all in close proximity, were burglarized early Thursday morning between the hours of 4 and 5 a.m.
Officers and troopers with guns drawn made an arrest right near Penn and Memorial. News 9 Sylvia Corkill joins us live at OCPD with all the details. Sylvia?
Amanda, Carl, police tell us that 31-year-old Lance Miller was driving a stolen pickup reported out of Texas when he refused to stop for officers.
It shook neighboring houses, it closed a busy road, and it prompted first responders to rush on scene.
Tonight, crews are working to clear a massive train derailment and more. News 9's Chris Yu joins us live from there with the very latest. Chris?
Amanda and Carl, the railroad crossing Southwest 34th Street here in Moore is where that derailment happens. Behind me, you can see crews are working to clear up the mess as we speak, operating heavy machinery right now. And the city says it could take days before this section of the road reopens.
Today, hundreds of folks stepped up to help a Metro family whose daughter is currently battling leukemia. After the 4-year-old was diagnosed in August, her parents tell News 9's Matt McCabe they've been blown away by an outpouring of support.
Delilah Thomas's family tells me no parent can prepare for the shocking news that they had received. Delilah had just turned 4 years old.
And we begin tonight with those terrifying moments when a young Edmond student is dropped off at the wrong house and cries for help.
Heartbreaking to hear. News 9's Jordan Fremstead spoke with the boy's parents and joins us now live with a statement from the school. Jordan.
Yeah, that's right, Carl and Amanda. A mother of 2 children tried to pick up her kids at an Edmond bus stop just a few days ago, but when she got there, those kids were not there after a mistake by an Edmond bus driver.
Big story today for the city, Oklahoma City, and the Thunder finalize a plan for the construction of a new arena.
OKC Mayor David Holt says the potential upgrade is needed to keep the Thunder here long term. News 9's Jordan Fremstead live tonight at the Paycom Center with a city council perspective on today's announcement.
Yeah, Carl and Amanda, not everybody agrees with this new proposal. A city council member here in town says that she thinks that the community should have more opportunities to weigh in on this topic, and that's why she says the city needs to call a timeout on this new proposal.
Water woman says police destroyed her home in a raid last night. The department tells us they were searching for a dangerous fugitive, but he wasn't there. News 9's Matt McCabe is live in Stillwater with why police were led to that home in the first place. Matt?
Amanda, police here in Stillwater were looking for a man who is wanted on several felony counts out of Lincoln County. And they showed up at the house of a woman who says that she is his recently separated ex-girlfriend and hasn't seen him for weeks.
Oklahoma has a new app to report suspicious activity, and it's getting results.
The state says this is about stopping crime before it happens. News 9's Jordan Fremstead is live downtown tonight with the impact. Jordan?
Amanda and Carl, this app downloads right to your phone, and it's meant to be pretty user-friendly. And DPS officials say they're already reviewing credible threats.
A barrage of gunfire is unleashed into a family's car, striking an 8-year-old boy in the head. It happened Sunday night in Lawton.
Our News 9 Sylvia Corkill is live from OU Children's with what police are calling a random shooting. Sylvia?
Amanda, Carl, Zachariah Bannister is hospitalized here in stable but critical condition. His aunt tells me he was accompanying his family on their DoorDash deliveries when their night took a tragic turn.